Hello friends, in this video we will cover how you can control your three-phase motor to fill up your overhead tank using the DigiPump smart motor controller. So assuming you have a submersible pump that is used using a DOL starter to start and stop the pump, and you need to automate to fill up your tank, and it may be a large tank because mostly the three-phase motor are used to fill up the big tank like RCC tank in the pump houses, etc. So assuming you need to automate it, so what you need a DigiPump smart motor controller, and the DigiPump smart motor controller basically will not replace your starter, rather it will work with your starter. It will try to control your starter uh, to start and stop the motor as and when required based on the sensor data. So two sensors will be installed in your tank, and whenever there is an empty or a low level water is detected in the tank, it will start the motor, and when the full sensor is detected, then it will stop the motor. How it will start? Basically it will give a command through the control wiring to your existing starter, basically a simulation of the green button, and when it need to stop, it will control the red button wiring and basically simulate the red color push button. So that's how it can start and stop your existing starter, and that will be done through the based on the sensors. So you need two sensors, overhead full and overhead empty sensor for this solution. But for three-phase motors, we have only provided these sensors can only be the wireless sensors. We have not provided the wired connectivity for three-phase motors. So you need to have a wireless sensor for this scenario. How these wireless sensors are connected, what are their range? Let's discuss that, the connectivity of the sensors. DigiPump provides you two types of connectivity to connect the sensor. One is the wired connectivity, another is the wireless connectivity. In the wired connectivity, you need to bring three wires from the overhead tank up to the starter panel, and these three wires can be connected either through the 3-core cable or Cat5, Cat6 cable using three wire socket. The second, before we go into the wireless, uh, here we describe how they are connected with the electronics. What are the markings? So if you see on the electronics, there is a marking common, overhead empty, overhead full, sump empty, and the pipe sensor. So here we have only shown for the two sensor in the overhead connected to it. So the black wire, which is a common wire, that is joint on the rooftop itself, and from there you can bring only one black wire up to the panel, and the blue wire of the empty that need to be connected on to the OH empty, the brown wire of the full that need to be connected on to the OH full. This is how you connect the sensors in the wired case. In the wireless, you will have two components. One is your starter panel, as it was there in the wired connectivity, but here you will have an additional wireless transmitter which will transmit the sensor status wirelessly to the receiver, which is your starter panel. So here you have another transmitter which will be installed on the tank itself, and you have sensors connected to the wireless transmitter. The common of both black wire of both the sensors need to be connected to the black wire of the transmitter. The blue wire need to be connected to the red wire of the transmitter, and the brown wire of the full need to be connected to the green wire of the wireless transmitter. This is how you connect the wireless sensor, and it has a long range wireless connectivity, so you can have your uh, tank maybe 5 to 10 floor easily, wherever your tank is located in the center of the roof or on the corner of the roof. It can cover that. It can cover more floors also, maybe 20-50 floors also, but for that you might need to install a transmitter and receiver in such a way that they can face each other. The dry run sensor, which is sump empty, and the pipe sensor, they can be either wireless or they can also be wired. So we provide you three different options, like you have all four wires fully wired, then you can have a fully wireless where all four sensor are wireless, and a hybrid where you have the overhead as wireless and the dry run sensor as the wired sensor. Why we provide this? Because with the wireless connectivity, it adds some cost to the solution because of the wireless transmitter and the chip used for the wireless transmission. So when you use sump empty and the or the pipe sensor as to be wireless, so in that case you will need, in the fully wireless solution, you will need two transmitter, and the two transmitter basically add to the cost of the solution, because overhead will transmit separately and the sump empty sensor transmitter will transmit separately. So it's up to you which solution you want. Now let's discuss the power wiring. How will you connect the phase, neutral, or the power of your motor, RYB wires of your motor. Friends, here we will explain you how you can control the three-phase motor using the DigiPump smart motor controller. So before we start going into the details of wiring, first we need to understand that even though it will be controlling your three-phase supply and three-phase motor, but the electronics still need to run on single phase 230 volt AC. So you need to make sure that you give the single phase supply 230 volt supply to the input terminals of the controller. These two terminals marked as N and L are the neutral and the phase, where you need to connect the neutral line on N and the one phase on the L. So this supply is still a single phase supply 230 volt AC supply. If you do wrong wiring by mistake and you pass the 440 volt, the electronics will be damaged then and there. So make sure that you still supply the 230 volt single phase AC line to the electronics. Now let's look how we are going to control this starter. So in three-phase starter, here we have taken example of DOL starter, but same applies to the star delta starter also. So if you see here in this starter, there are two NO points and two NC points. The two NO points are the one, this yellow point and this blue and pink, the where they are joined together. So these two points are NO points. So they are normally open, but when you close them, then the motor gets started. And here are the two NC points. They are normally closed, but when you open them by pressing the red button, your motor gets stopped. So we are going to control these 2 points to start the motor and these 2 points to stop the motor. How we are going to do that? Let me explain you. So on the two NO points, we have given the start push. If you see the marking on our electronics, COM and NO, which is a start push button simulation basically. So you have a I1 and O1 points. These are two terminals where you need to connect these two NO points directly. So it's a parallel connection that you can see here. I1 is connected to one point and O1 is connected to another point of two NO contacts. Now coming to the stop button. So for stop button, you need to understand that there are two NC points. As you see, this pink wire connected here on one point of the NC, and there is an black wire connected to the another point of NC. And this black wire is actually going to the coil of coil terminal. So what we need to make sure is that you open this wire which is going from one of the NC point to your coil. So Here you need to remove this wire. So we need to make sure that one of the NC point is empty. Let me explain you mark it more specifically. So what we need to do, we need to open this wire. This black wire need to be completely removed. So this terminal will be empty and this coil terminal will be empty. So one NC point is already connected, but another NC point which is going to the coil need to be opened. This wire need to be removed. This black wire that you see here, this need to be removed. Once you remove this black wire, you have an open terminal here, you have an open terminal here, and that's what we need to connect our circuit into this. So once these terminals are open, you see the NC point, one of the NC point need to go connect to I3 of the controller, and O3 need to connect to the coil. So your circuit now still completes, but it's completed through the smart motor controller circuit. So from the NC point, it's going on to the DigiPump controller, and from O3 point is going on to the coil. So what essentially we did, we basically put our controller in series with the NC and the coil, which were connected earlier directly. So this is a series connection, but NO is the parallel connection. So once you complete this wiring, let's discuss what are the features available and how you can use them. Friends, DigiPump provides you many inbuilt features to help your automation, but we are going to cover the key features only, because otherwise this video may become too long. So let's start with the features. Automatic start, basically your pump starts whenever the water level goes below a certain threshold in your tank. Automatically stop whenever the tank is full, it will automatically stop the motor. Scheduled start and scheduled stop. So basically you can start the motor at a specified time, and you can also, if you want it to be stopped at scheduled time, you can also have the stop also through the schedule. Dry run protection we provide through the two sensors. One is the sump empty sensor and one is the pipe sensor. So sump empty sensor is used when you are having the sump tank and you want to make sure that even though your overhead tank is empty, and since the sump tank is also empty, it does not run the motor infinitely in the dry run condition, because it cannot fulfill the tank because sump is already empty. Similarly, for the pipe sensor is being used when you are using the municipality water, for example, like the water is not coming but your tank is empty. So it should not happen that your motor keeps running to fill the tank, but tank cannot be filled because the water is not coming from the municipality. So to protect against those conditions, the dry run protection is available. We have a voltage protection. The voltage protection is for the low voltage and the high voltage condition. So whenever your voltage goes above 265 volt, or the input voltage goes below the 165 volt, then the voltage protection triggers and it will stop your motor. Similarly, we have a current protection. By default, we set it to the upper threshold of 14 ampere. So if your motor start taking more than 14 ampere, it will switch off your motor. Apart from the automatic start and stop, sometime you may need to override those controls and you need a manual control. So we provide a switch in the panel that through which if you can just press it, it will start the motor, and if you press it again, it will stop the motor. So manual switch override is also possible apart from the automatic. We also provide a countdown timer. The countdown timer basically helps you when you have a condition, for example, like whenever I start a motor, it should automatically switch off with, in 30 minutes, no matter what. So whether the motor started with from the schedule or started from the sensor or started manually, it will automatically switch off after those many minutes or hours, whatever you have set into the countdown timer. So the big question that customer usually have in their mind, and whether this works without Wi-Fi, or does it need internet and the Wi-Fi? So I would like to clarify in very clear terms that the complete automation works without any Wi-Fi, without any internet, without any Bluetooth or a SIM card or anything, because it senses based on the sensors, and based on that sensor activity, it basically start and stop your motor. Even the schedules that we have, timers we have, does not need internet. We have a built-in clock and the battery to maintain the clock. So the timer also works without any internet or the Wi-Fi. So the question is, if the complete automation works without Wi-Fi, does it has the Wi-Fi support or the internet support? If yes, what is the use of that? So if you have the Wi-Fi in your home and you can provide the internet to the device, although it's not required for the automation, but you can have additional features that might be useful for you. Let's cover what are those features that are available when you can provide the internet to the device, although internet is not required for the mandatory automation. So when internet is available, you can get the notification in the app. So whenever the motor gets started or stopped, you will get a notification in your app that motor has been started at this particular time and at this particular date. Not only just the notification, but it will also come with the trigger level detail, whether motor started because of the sensor activity, sensor detected that water was low, or somebody pressed the switch manually, or was there any fault condition like over voltage that caused it to be stopped. So all those details comes in the notification. Anytime control is basically you can control the or you can check the status of the motor from anywhere if you have the internet connected to the panel. So with that, even if you are in different city, you can check the status of your motor. You can check the status of your sensors anytime sensor check. Not only the status of the motor, you can also check the status of your sensor sitting in different city, sitting in different country, in fact. Because through the internet it can fetch the status of the sensor, and it can fetch the status of your motor, whether it's running or not running, or the empty is showing the tank is empty or not. It also provide the parameter update facility with the internet, like from remotely you can change the parameter. For example, like the current threshold that we have set from the factory is 14 ampere, but your motor takes, for example, 8 ampere only, and you want to set the upper threshold as 10 ampere for protection, that whenever it takes more than 10 ampere, the motor should be automatically switch off. So that is possible through the setting the parameter into the device. Voice control is also there, but we do not see much of the applicability of the voice control. But yes, if you have internet, you can also give the voice commands to start and stop your motors to Alexa or Google Assistant. The important feature is energy monitoring. It provides you the power consumption details of your motor, like how many units or how many kilowatt are units consumed today. So for the current month, it shows the date-wise consumption, and for last 11 months, it provides you cumulative monthly basis consumptions. So that's the energy monitoring that you can have here, and you get to know how much power is consumed by your motor. If you have any further queries, you can contact us for the technical queries on 8130345141. And if you want to resell it, you want to install it, or you want any sales partnership, you can contact on 9811682214. Anytime you can visit us on our Vasundhara office. Thank you.